Hi, this is Burt Cabañas, the Chairman and CEO of Benchmark Hospitality International. Burt, what's been the biggest change in the hotel industry since you've started over 30, 40 years ago?
Well, in 30 or 40 years, you've had a ton of changes, but I think the one that's been most critical to all of us has been the technology. There used to be a time in the 80s when you bragged about what you did in the 70s, and in the 90s you bragged about what you did in the 80s. Today you brag about last Tuesday. I mean, it really has taken us by storm. Not only that, it has also leveled the playing field. It makes the independent property equally as capable to be successful as the chain affiliated, because the 800 number is no longer the only technology available.
The new direction for Benchmark, going more into luxury hotels, what's the biggest benefit for the company by doing that?
But the alignment with MTM Luxury Lodging and buying that company and forming a group with their people does kind of identify that grouping separately from our resorts, hotels, and conference centers. But most critical to me is the people growth in the company. The ability to give our 700 managers and over 500 employees an opportunity to grow and maintain that entrepreneurial spirit by being in that personal luxury collection of properties that fits so well in our industry right now.
Yeah, so talking about the luxury resort class, it fell a long way at the very beginning of the recession. It's bounced back a little bit, but what's your forecast for that segment?
As it relates to the resort industry, I think they're going to come back. They are heading back. The properties that are having the most difficulties are those properties that were over leveraged to begin with. From a business investment point of view, they were built at an amount of dollars per room that were so difficult to get to in terms of average rate, to comparably be able to pay for that. And we are going to be lagging in average rates. So those that were properly leveraged are going to do very well, and those that are not are going to still continue to suffer.
What's the biggest challenge for U.S. hotels, and how do you propose that they overcome that challenge?
I think the challenge is very predominant right now, coming out of a 3-year, 36-month recession, that we're not catching up on rate as fast as we should. We need to somehow be able to get up to a rate positioning faster after a recession. We've had 4 in my lifetime. You know, the 80s, the 90s, 2001, and now this one. And in all cases, we lost way too much rate for an industry. And that is a major problem that needs to be addressed, and that is the problem that's facing us now. I would say it will be the middle of 2013 before we will have caught up on the rates we lost from 2007.
Okay. And finally, you mentioned you have 700 managers and 5,000 employees. So why should the hotel industry be the industry of choice for today's college grads as opposed to the real estate industry or the banking industry?
Well, I think the hospitality industry is a place where you can start and not necessarily end. You can have a great time. It's a good place to learn how to deal with people. And from an income point of view, we do start out much lower than most other industries for an entry-level college person. But the opportunity to be financially successful in the long term pretty much is equal with any other industry they could go into.
Burt Cabañas, Chairman and CEO of Benchmark Hospitality International, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeff.